Okay, so hi everyone. Welcome to Defend 3. Our topic today is what role does stress play in our overall health? And first, want to go through some reminders. Don't forget, we only have 2 weeks left. So this week and next week are the last two sort of Defend topics, and then we'll close things out for summer the following week. We still have our personalized coaching session. So the next 2 weeks, you can still ask questions about behavior, nutrition, and physical activity to our coaches. And then we have a new challenge, of course, this week, and it's to try one new activity. It could be to stay active or help you complete your goals, and comment on our Facebook challenge. It doesn't have to necessarily be high intensity exercise. I was thinking maybe I was going to actually do some of these exercises from one of the 10 phone apps I downloaded during COVID, but just post it in our Facebook group and let us know. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel and our website. So the challenge is try a new activity. We have a cooking demo, foods that help reduce stress and help with sleep. And physical activity will have a demo on exercising for stress reduction. So to talk a little more about what does stress play in overall health, and I kind of chose this image here because I feel like that's what my brain looks like right now. I think I'm finally able to start de-stressing a little bit. So stress is a feeling of emotional or physical tension. It can come from any event or thought that makes you feel frustrated, angry, and nervous. And it's our body's reaction to a challenge or demand. So in short bursts, stress can be positive, like in the fight or flight syndrome or fight or flight when it's helping you avoid danger or meet a deadline. But when it lasts for a long period of time, it can actually harm your health. So I think a lot of people, especially during this last year plus of the pandemic, we're probably seeing a lot of stress that has resulted in changes in our health. So there's a lot of alternative names for stress, like anxiety, which is basically stress that continues after the initial stressor is gone. Feeling uptight, tension, like getting jitters or apprehension about anything, all of these are linked to stress. And the thing that causes your stress is called a stressor. So for a lot of people, the pandemic can be a stressor, work and other things. We'll talk about that more in a sec. Stress is a totally normal feeling, and there are two types. So acute stress is really the one in the short term, and it goes away quickly. So you might feel it when you like slam on the brakes in your car, have a fight with your partner, when you're skiing down a steep slope. It helps you really manage dangerous situations. It can also occur when you do something new or exciting, and everyone has acute stress at one time or another. And then actually my acute stress was what I make it from today, dropping off lunch at my son's little learning camp and make it to do defend in time. And I just barely made it. Anyway, so chronic stress is stress that lasts for longer periods of time. This could be related to things like money problems, unhappy marriage, trouble at work. Any type of stress that goes on for weeks or months is called chronic stress. So also, like the pandemic can be a cause of chronic stress. And you can become so used to it that you don't realize it's a problem. But if we don't find ways to manage our chronic stress, it could lead to health problems. So this is just an example on the right of how stress impacts your body. So our body does react to stress by releasing hormones, and these can make our brain more alert, cause our muscles to tense, increase your pulse, or those heart palpitations you feel when you're stressed. Like they keep repeating, it's in the short term, these can be good because it can help you handle that immediate situation causing you stress. It's our body's way of protecting ourselves. But over the long term, with chronic stress, like things that might be happening at work or with our jobs, we can see that result in high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and weight gain. So I think there's a lot of people who've gained weight, myself included, during the COVID-19 pandemic. I think, I can't remember if I presented it to the Defend group, but a study came out studying 35,000 people using smart scales and independent of race, sex, work, social class, where they lived, urban versus rural, the average person in the pandemic was gaining like I think was it 0.6 pounds every 10 days. So depression or anxiety can be a result of stress, skin problems like acne or eczema, menstrual problems, and it can make current health conditions worse. And this on the right just shows different other physical ailments, that can result from stress. A lot of it is insomnia. I know this is one way my stress manifests itself in insomnia and depression. A lot of stomach aches and issues with fertility. So what are some signs that you have too much stress? So you might not realize some of these symptoms are caused by stress. So maybe you have either diarrhea or you're constipated, a lot of forgetfulness, frequent aches and pains. And now like that I'm reading this because I just submitted 7 grants in 7 weeks. I feel like maybe some of what's happening to me was stress. Lack of energy or focus, sexual problems, stiff jaw or neck, being really tired, sleeping too little or sleeping too much, stomach aches, weight loss or gain, and use of alcohol or drugs to relax. So these signs of stress can be physical, they can be emotional, they can be behavioral or psychological. And I think sometimes, we get so used to it that we just don't recognize these signs for what they are. So here are some more common causes of stress. So getting married or divorced can be stressful, starting a new job, the death of a family member, losing a job or retiring, having a baby, issues with money, moving, serious illnesses, problems at work or problems at home. And I think at one time or other in our life, we'll probably all experience some of these big causes of stress, and just identifying what the cause can be can help you move forward. And I also wanted to note that sometimes, chronic stress can lead to thoughts of suicide, especially if depression is something that happens to you when you're stressed. So you should contact a medical professional if you feel overwhelmed by your stress, or if it's impacting your health. And you should call your doctor or healthcare provider if you notice any new or unusual symptoms that could be linked to your stress. For instance, like panic attacks are common. I think until I identified had a medical professional help me identify what a panic attack was in my postdoc. It could feel like a heart attack. So dizziness, rapid breathing, racing heartbeat, you're just unable to carry out your daily functions at home or your job. You have fears that are just out of control or memories of a traumatic event. And then your healthcare provider can help you seek the additional help you need to deal with these stressors. So learning to recognize stress is really the first step in managing stress. So recognize where your stress comes from in your life, because we all feel stress in different ways. You may be angry or irritable, or be losing sleep, stomach aches, headaches. But what are your signs of stress? And once you know what signals to look for, you can really start to manage it. And then if you can figure out what these symptoms are of your stress, it can also help you identify the situations that are causing you stress to give you these symptoms. And once you understand where your stress is coming from and how it manifests itself, you can come up with a plan to deal with your stressors. So it's also important to avoid unhealthy ways to relieve stress. I think a lot of these unhealthy eating behaviors can include eating too much, smoking, drinking alcohol or using drugs, sleeping too much or not getting enough sleep, things like gambling. So if you find yourself, especially during the pandemic, with these things increasing, this could be due to, increased stress. And, these poor choices help you feel better at first, but they may hurt you more than help you. Oops. I copied and pasted this from the website. So I would say, one of my stressors is really it results in eating too much, and it does give you instant gratification to eat pizza or fries. But then, within 5 minutes, I'm always regretting that decision, which then causes me even more stress. So one of the things I hope Defend has helped everyone think about over the last, I think, almost 6 months is ways to change behavior or incorporate behaviors through SMART goals into your life to help become more healthy and help reduce stress. So recognize the things you can't change, avoid stressful situations, get exercise, and you'll see when you Google just stress or treatments for stress, healthier diet and exercise, which is really the whole premise of Defend, are often listed as ways to help with stress. Change your outlook. So I know I tend to be a glass half empty kind of person, but I've been really working hard over the pandemic to be more glass half full. And others may not see it, but I see a change in myself just when I try to have a more positive approach. My stress levels seem to reduce. Do something you enjoy. So if you're having a bad day, go take a walk or watch a movie. Do something that will help counterbalance your stress. Learn new ways to relax. So one of the things I started doing before the pandemic was trying to make time to meditate. There's this lovely app, it's free. It's called Insight Timer. And it's all, there's guided meditations, there's just music, all kinds of different things to help you sleep better in 5 minutes while you're in the car. And I found that it was really helping me decompress, especially during the workday. Reconnect with loved ones or connect with loved ones, get enough sleep. So we want to aim for about 7 to 9 hours each night, maintain a healthy diet, and learn to say no. So then I would also share some foods that may help with stress. So complex carbohydrates like whole grains, they help the brain make more serotonin, and they also stabilize your blood sugar, which can help with stressors and mood. There's some evidence that vitamin C intake, like from oranges or citrus fruits, may help reduce the levels of cortisol and other stress hormones in your body. Spinach has magnesium, which helps with mood. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish help with stabilize mood. And then there's functional compounds in black tea, pistachios, avocados, almonds that can help with stress. Also, I was reading something about raw veggies, and this is the wrong copy and paste here. I think this came from WebMD. So the chewing, so if you're someone who manifests stress by like clenching their jaw, eating raw veggies and that crunch can help you ward off the tension that can build up in your jaw. And then milk. So people, you always hear about drinking milk or warm milk before bedtime. Well, there's some studies out there that show that actually the calcium eases anxiety and mood swings linked to PMS. So these are just some of the overall foods that may help with stress. And also, I think overall, a diet high in whole grains, fruits and vegetables, and lower in things like sodium and fat are also good for mood and stress. So 5 takeaway messages about stress. It impacts everyone. And not all stress is bad stress. Like, for instance, if it's the stress to help you get out of a dangerous situation, but long-term stress can really be harmful to your health. There are a lot of ways to manage stress, and you can find a lot of free resources on the internet. But if you really are overwhelmed by your stress and you find that it's hard to maintain the daily functions of life, it is important to ask for help from a health professional. And so then next week, we'll talk about summer fun, maintaining healthy behaviors when our schedules start to change, which I realize a lot of us that happened over the last 2 weeks. And we're happy just to take any questions and answers. And because this is the end, we're getting to the end of the Defend, we're happy to answer any questions you may have just about nutrition, physical activity, anything that's come up since, school's been out that anyone wants to share or ask questions of Dr. Howie Hickey and myself. No, I feel like my heart rate is starting to calm down after like rushing around. Maybe I shouldn't confess that I also just bought 8 kids a bunch of McDonald's, but that's the counselor's problem, not mine. Oh, there's a chat. Let's see. Lynn said she teaches speech and has her students watch a great video regarding stress. Oh, yeah, well, I'll have to copy that, Lynn. Let me see. I'm on my website right now, so I don't lose it. Any other tips? Is anyone feeling a little less stressed in your life now that I know this is going to start playing? I want to pause it. Now that we're opening back up again.
Hey, Jamie, it's Jamie. I'm dialing in today. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you read anything about like the level of intensity of the exercise and stress, because I feel like sometimes like the days that I do exercise that is more intense, it just helps so much more as opposed to like something that's more, you know, like a walk or something.
So I haven't read anything, maybe Erin, you know, but I know when I was in this leadership course a couple years ago, we had to take those personality tests. And then this was the first time this ever happened. Like it rated your personality and then it told you like the best ways to control stress in your life based on your personality type. So since I'm like,
interesting.
say controlling, like I'm a stressful person, I think in general, I'm always stressed. It recommended like really high intensity exercise is what I would need to like channel my inner demons. I don't know. I'd like to unwind at the end of the day. But then a colleague who is very like peace oriented, like we're completely different personalities. And it was recommended to him like Pilates, yoga. So yeah.
Makes total sense.
I think it's like, I really think you just have to do for you what works best. And like I've had this back injury now for like 4 months. So I have to walk at like a 3 mile per hour pace or slower. And I feel like really frustrated.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see like any references, but they printed out, you know, your like 20-page personality report. And in it was like a ways to reduce stress, like workout plan.
Well, I need to read that. You need to send it to me if you remember.
Put in the chat, Jamie. I'll save all these links. I'm opening them in a browser and then
okay.
I'll send them over to you.
Awesome. Thank you. We're driving today, so I appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah, it's your last week all to ask Jamie, or like 2 more weeks from your dietitian. Let's see. I'm just copying one more, Jamie, so I can remember, so I don't lose it in the chat. Oops. Thanks for sharing that, Lynn, though. Those are really helpful. I'm not an expert. I'm an expert in having stress. I'm not an expert in dealing with stress. And Marianne wrote she likes the medicine ball and aerobic weightlifting. Those are good ideas. And I think I'm also, because like I carry my stress in my back, like taking frequent breaks and walking around. But and I think, I don't know if anyone else has done this during the pandemic, but reprioritizing like what's important. Like when I didn't have to go to work every day, I was actually happier. No offense to my colleagues I've seen on this call. I think it just less stressful. I don't know if like Dr. Hickey or Bryce want to say anything about it, exercise and stress.
Well, I'll just following up on Jamie's comment, and Bryce can talk a little bit about this. I think in terms of research and evidence, and Lynn posted a good article, there's a lot more that's coming out about different intensities of exercise and different types of exercise and how they have different health effects, not just on stress, but on even cardiovascular risk and other mental health outcomes. So like walking to work every day is different than, you know, the activity you might do in a factory, or gardening for leisure time activity. It's a lot more complex, but than we originally thought. But it probably will go back to what Jamie said about, you know, finding what works best for you. It's going to be a very individualized answer to that. Is there anything you want to add to that, Bryce?
No, all the research I've been reading, it's been very, like probably the leading articles I've read, like vigorous is good, but then they're finding more about like personality as what's been mentioned. It is kind of like you got to find your own thumbprint when it comes to your exercise and what works for you for alleviating stress and that kind of stuff. But I will say, like, if to err on the side of caution, like I think vigorous exercise is good. Like the higher you get your heart rate to an extent, really staying probably between that 60 to 75% of your max heart rate. It's probably a good place to start if you're experiencing stress when it comes to your exercise.
Then how would people know they were hitting 60 to 70% of max heart rate? I'll put you on the spot, Bryce. Like, how would I, if I decide to like put on my running shoes and go outside, how do I know I'm in that zone?
What I would start with, and it might, like, obviously it's going to require a heart rate monitor, but you can also use the talk test too. So I'll start with just saying, if you're looking to figure out what your max heart rate is, you want to do 220 minus your age. So I'm 26, so 220 minus 26. So my max heart rate's like 196 theoretically. And so then I can look at, okay, what is 60 to 75% of 196? And then I kind of have my heart rate zone for that jog or walk or whatever. And then I could use a heart rate monitor. Or if you don't have the funds or anything like that, you can definitely use the talk test. Typically, if you can hold a conversation with somebody as you're exercising, that's more moderate. But if you're having to stop and take breaths to like finish a sentence, that's going to be more the vigorous. And then if you're too tired to talk, then you're probably doing more related like sports performance, going all out, which we don't necessarily need to do to alleviate some mental stress. So the talk test, that's a great one to kind of figure out the intensity, but also using that 220 minus your age, and then really looking at 60 to 75% of your heart rate if you have a heart rate monitor.
Thanks, Bryce.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's forget about the talk test because I feel like I could have a PhD in talking and I can like talk through anything. Even
Fair enough.
But sometimes I do struggle more.
Run up Cleveland. We'll see how that talk test goes.
Oh yeah, and Dr. Hickey has a very long stride and pace. So when we walked a few months ago, I'm very out of shape. I maintained it, but it was a struggle. I didn't want her to think I was weak.
Well, I went walking with Bryce and it was hot out in early COVID and we had masks on and it was a bit of a challenge to talk and walk and wear masks in the heat. It was at least warm, wasn't it, Bryce? You were sweaty.
I sweated through that mask in 5 minutes. Like it was gross.
Yeah. I mean, and one of my stresses now is like, I know people return to work that aren't vaccinated, but they're not wearing a mask, but there's like no system in place to like tell on people. But it stresses me out. But I told Lynn got a dog. And you have to take it for a walk, whether you feel like it or not. I will say, Lynn, I got a COVID dog in December and I find him very stressful. His name is Larry and he has bad manners. But
I am not a dog person, but one of my colleagues, her whole research is on dogs and how they make you do more physical activity and make you healthier. But I'm going to default to it depends on what kind of person you are. If you don't like dogs or what kind of dog it is, if the dog is high maintenance, then it will not be as effective.
Yeah, once Larry learns how to walk on a leash, I think it will be game changing. But he's like half hound dog and apparently they're really stubborn. So it's hard to like break that instinct to want to chase every scent. But we'll get there. Yeah, Lynn, I agreed. Hard on the socks. Larry was really hard on shoes. I lost like 4 pairs of shoes early on. But any other tips, ideas? It was kind of a fast talk, but again, talking as fast is one of the things I excel in. So, okay, well, we have like 5 minutes left, but we can end early. I'm fine with that. I copied all the links that Lynn shared. So if you want them to send either Emma an email via Defend or myself, and I'll send those to you. Because I think I'm definitely going to watch these TED Talks. Yeah, Emma just also put the Defend email at the bottom of the chat. Anyway, well, thanks for everyone for participating and sharing. And don't forget to call in these last 2 weeks. If you have any burning questions or we're too nervous to call in before, time's running out. And then we will be posting the survey probably after next week's presentation. So look for the final survey. So even if you didn't take the middle survey, but you took the first survey, please fill it out. Thanks for your time, everyone. Have a good day.